Hey, God bless you, my friend. It's Sister Sharon, and today I want to give you a number one sign to look for that you, my brother or sister, you are an emotional, abusive person. And we must know and understand that as followers of Jesus Christ, we must daily pick up our cross and follow Christ. And this does include choosing to forgive those who transgress against us. You have to refuse to be offended. It doesn't mean that we will not be, because every day brings its own set of problems and issues and encounters, often with people who are in our primary relationships. A primary relationship would be your spouse, your children, uncle or auntie, someone who you interact with on a regular basis. It's usually family members, most notably a husband and a wife. I want you to pay close attention, friends, because your marriage could be heaven on earth or hell on earth. But as a follower of Christ, he gave us instructions in Matthew chapter 18. He gave a clear instruction and insight for those of us who want to be free from what is really witchcraft. When you give someone the silent treatment, friend, you are an abuser. You are an emotional, abusive person, and you are against Christ's teachings when you refuse to speak up and speak out and let it be known, I am not pleased with your behavior. I am not pleased with what you said or what you did. These are primary relationships. When you have coworkers, they can be considered secondary relationships. When we are dealing with secondary relationships, friends, sometimes listen, if you can't shake that thing, you have to ask God to give you grace to approach that individual and speak what's in your heart. Otherwise, you risk becoming bitter. And if you're not careful, you entertain ways to retaliate against that person. That person comes in perky the next morning at your job. Now, this is for people who are offended with people you work with. They done came in. They don't even know that they upset you. They haven't thought nothing about what you're still pondering as an offense. And you're like, good morning. Hi. Usually, hey girl, how you doing? And you just all in it. But when they offend you, hi, I'm fine. Girl, what's wrong? You okay? I'm good. Or your husband or your wife, sweetie, let me get my hug in before you go to work, and you give them some little half hug, and he or she don't know what's wrong with you. And some of them ignore you. They don't care if you in a bag or not. You the one sitting there all messed up in your spirit. They don't even know that what they did to you offended you. Listen, friends, you as a follower of Christ, myself, we must choose our battles. We must choose what we refuse, friends, to ponder, because this journey is tedious. And if you are a petty person, you're going to live in the spirit of witchcraft where you're trying to control other people. And usually when you are an emotionally abusive person, everywhere you go, your negative vibe, as we would say, your spirit is discerned by those who know better. And they ain't going to want to have nothing to do with you. And that's why you don't have friends, because you wear your emotions on your sleeve and you walk around ignoring people, mistreating people who probably don't have one clue that they did anything to you. And we will justify this behavior by saying they won't receive it. That is such a cop out to speak up on someone else's behalf when you have not done what Jesus has told us to do. Go to your neighbor when you're offended. How can you read this thing out and say, she's not going to receive it anyway? No, that's just your little easy cop out of not being strong enough and willing to obey our Savior. It's a cop out, friends. They won't receive it. Number two, you will, my friend, end up saying in your own heart, they know what they did. You just rehearsed. They know what they did. Well, if they knew, which they don't have a clue, that's why they came in perky and said, good morning, and ran into your good morning. They don't know. That's why, friends, we must be strong in the Lord and to do what He has taught us. There is a way sometimes to approach people when you know that you're offended and you don't want it to become more than what it is. You got to find a way to get that thing out. That's where prayer and supplication and casting our cares upon our Father comes in, where He will give us understanding how to handle this situation. And third, beloved, the thing that this is rooted in is pride. It's pride. Remember, pride causes us to hide. And then unforgiveness, it has its way with you, friends. And before you know it, you are hard to get along with. Don't nobody want to be bothered with you. And when you decide to speak up about whatever you was bothered with, you turn that thing into something mountainous, and then likely you cannot recover from that relationship. And it just continues to go downhill because you refuse to grow up. See, Paul said when he was a child, that's how he behaved. But now that he was a man of God, he was God's man. You are God's girl. You are God's handmaiden. You are God's man, brother. We don't have time to play these witchcraft games with those that they have been brought into our lives. We don't choose family. But there is a way, friends. You get nowhere behaving like what you see in this picture. It is petty. It is childish. It's ungodly. It's fleshly. It is destructive. And you, if it's you, need to stop. It's hurting no one but you and your relationship with the Father. Because just like you refuse to forgive them, you refuse to forgive him. You refuse to forgive her. You refuse to continue to be kind. You allow what you think that they did was so wrong to keep you in a bag. Oh, friends, come on and shake yourself. Come out of that pride. Come out of that petty spirit and speak your mind. He or she that has an ear to hear, let us follow the teachings of Jesus. Matthew chapter 18, verse 15. Let it be your meditation. You got this thing, friends. It's time to grow up. Stop abusing your spouse. Stop abusing your children. Stop abusing those who work with you. Stop abusing them and do the word. Till next time, my friends, God bless us all.